Right, so for this one, x element negative 180, 360, so between negative 180 and 360. Okay, you want to find the specific solution again, between negative 180 and 360. Now the problem with this one is you get a sine and a cos, and now you can't divide by cos and change it to tan. Okay, sometimes you can divide by cos and change it to tan, but you can only do that if the angles are the same. But here you got an 80 minus x and a 3x minus 76. So the angles are completely different, so you can't divide by cos. Now you have to use co-ratios. Okay? You can change the cos. Remember cos x. Okay, remember we've learned that cos x is equal to sine 90 minus x. Okay, so we know this. Cos x is sine 90 minus x. Okay? So we can say this is like my x, cos x. This is my angle. Okay? So this angle, I can say that's like my x, so it's going to be sine 90 minus this angle. Okay, so we're going to first do that. Okay, so we're gonna say, change this cos to sine 90 minus 3x minus 76. Okay, this one stays the same, sine 80 minus x. So we leave this one, but this one we change the cos of this angle to sine 90 minus that angle. Okay, co-ratios. So now we can obviously multiply it in, so we can say it's sine 90 minus 3x, and minus and a minus gives you plus 76. And this side stays like this, sine 80 minus x. And now we can say, we can do one more step. We can say, therefore, sine 80 minus x is equal to sine, then 90 plus 76 is 166 minus 3x. Okay. So that first step was important, changing the cos to sine. We can have sine and sine. And now we got the angle, and it's positive and positive. So we know sine is positive in the first and second quadrant. So we can have two solutions. So we can say, therefore, my one solution would be 80 minus x equal to 166 minus 3x. Okay? And then my other solution, I'm just not going to write here, or my other solution is in the second quadrant. So then I'm going to say 80 minus x equal to 180 minus this angle, 166 minus 3x. I'll put in the plus 360 times n in the next step. Okay, we obviously have to, well, I can just put in here plus and then the dots to show you have to put it in here also. Remember to put in the plus, let's just put in plus 360 times n. Okay, and so we got the angle equal to the angle, first quadrant, and then the angle equal to 180 minus the angle. Angle 80 minus x equal to 180 minus the angle. First and second quadrant. Okay, so remember two solutions. Okay, so now we can play around. If you take the negative x over, so negative x plus 3x gives you 2x. And then if you take the 80 over, it's 166 minus 80, so it's going to be 86 plus 360 times n. And then for this one, if you multiply the negative in, you're going to have 180 minus 166. So that gives you 14. And then the minus and the minus gives you plus 3x. And then plus 360 times n. And here just the 80 minus x. So here we just multiply the negative in. Okay. And then we can say, take the 3x over. So it's negative x minus 3x. So we get negative 4x equal to, and then take the 80 over. So it's 14 minus 80, so it's minus 66. Okay, and then plus the 360 times n, and now we divide by negative 4. So you can check What does that give you? 33, 16,5. I think it's going to be 16,5 degrees. Okay, and then plus 360 times n. And this one divide by 2. No, sorry, we're going to divide this also by 4. Okay, we divide this by 4 and we divide this by 4. So we get 90 times n. And remember, even if you divide by a negative, it stays positive. You don't change the 360 to negative 90. You leave it as plus 90. Because when you put in n, you're going to put in negative values for n anyway. Okay, so this one divide by 2. So x is 43 plus 180 times n. And now, because it's our final answer, we can put in an n element z. Okay, it's a final answer. So you can say, therefore, it's n element z. And now, to find a specific solution, now we can start substituting. Okay, so there's all the specific solutions. Okay, from negative 180 to 360. So we start with, you can start with the smallest value you can think of that might work, negative 2. When you put negative 2 in here, 90 times negative 2 is negative 180 plus 16,5. Then you get your first solution. Then you put negative 2 in here, it's not going to work. Then you go to negative 1. 180 times negative 1 is negative 180 plus 43. And then you get negative 137. I put negative 1 in here. 90 times negative 1 is negative 90 plus 16,5. Then you get this one. You just keep on going. Put 0 in, you just get 43. Put 0 in here, you just get 16,5. Then you put 1 in, and then you put 2 in, and then you're going to get all your solutions.